Good morning, FYI family. Welcome to the live. Welcome. How are you folks doing? This Wednesday morning, Wednesday the 17th day of July, we passed mid-month. We're in the salary period. It's any given day now. Any given day now, we watching the bank account. We calling the workplace. You calling finance, accounts. The thing gone through yet? It's gone. Good morning to each and every one of you. How are you folks doing today? Good to see so many of you on the live this morning. Johnny Anderson, Edward Brooms. Good to see you folks. Shelly DeRed is here. Gavin Jacobs. Good to see each and every one of you beautiful folks on the live. Joanna Green. Good to see you too, Joanna. I see you. Gavin Jacobs. Edward Brooms. Tracy Clark. Lionel Simon here as well. Great to see you beautiful folks here with us. How are you all doing? Do let us know, how are you on this Wednesday morning, middle of the week, top of the morning. We trust that you guys are great. You hit the ground running since you woke up this morning. I know some of you, like me, you've been up so long, now should be midday. Probably already eat out your lunch too. Now should be around midday, the length of time we've been up. Camille Cox, we see you there, Region 6. Well represented in the house this morning. Good to have you on the live. I see Shirlene Juicy Tendry is here with us too. Not forgetting, Shirlene Juicy Tendry is on with us. Barbara Ralph, I see you there as well, Barbara. Andrew Griffith, Mr. Information. Andrew Griffith knows everything that happens in this country, that happens in this town. Even before it happens, he has his hands on the pulse. You ever heard that, folks? Got your hands on the pulse. I saw an MP trying to call me here. Some folks think you're just idle in the mornings, They feel you're just a little idle in the morning. They think you're idle in the morning. Great to have each and every one of you. Correct is right. 1 second, folks. Good to have all of you on the live today. Great to see you folks. Wherever you're joining us from, rock and come in this morning. We start with the first 15 folks. Last night we were knocked off, bounced on. Where are you joining us from this morning? Where are you joining us from? Mornis Toby is here. Mornis is going home soon. Going home to Port Kaituma. Folks, Morna runs a beautiful establishment there. Sells all kinds of haberdasheries. Is that what you call it? But what's the icing on the cake? Morna and family sells food as well. Oh my God. Eighth wonder of the world. You can go to Port Kaituma, Hayon Touch Mornings eating establishment. We had lunch there, we had some breakfast there. Beautiful, beautiful. MP Rita Finance is on. It's a good thing she's on this morning. She said she felt attacked last night. Who attacked you? Who attacked you? Lynn Finance on the live as well. MP Rita Finance. Any relations? Lynn Finance, MP Rita Finance. Alistair Gill is here too. Region 11. Good morning, Alistair. Shireen Hohenkirk is here as well. And Leach and all the other folks. Let's start with the first 15 folks. And as we said, yesterday we were in Bartica. Looked at a couple issues there. One of them is the water woes. The Barticians tired, especially the folks there from 5 miles. Every other day getting water. And even that you can't depend on. It seems like it's every 10 days now. And then the Ghana Fire Service selling water. My God. Take a listen to some of what MP Rita Finance told us as we were boots on the ground yesterday in Bartica. Take a look. Take a listen. MP Finance, we are on the ground here with you in Bartica. And there are so many issues. I mean, you can take your pick, but let's talk, for instance, about this water problem and anything else you want to throw in there that Barticians having. Talk to us about that.
Well, good evening, guys. The water issue is one that has been plaguing Bartica for some time now. When I speak, I'm speaking specifically about the 4 mile and the 5 mile area because that's the area in which persons have not been receiving potable water, and the water that when it is received, it is as very poor quality altogether. Now, one would remember, and I'm speaking persons that are tuning in, listening to the program that actually reside in Bartica, particularly in 4 and 5 mile area, would remember that after the PP took office in 2020, the minister that's Colin Crowell and his team went up into the Patara Road and they had a meeting and they spoke, a lot of lofty things were promised. And in that, they said persons would be getting water. I'm going to read the actual headline from Stabrook News. It said 5 Mile Bartica could finally get improved water supply. So the residents of 5 Mile Bartica can expect to access portable water in 3 months. Minister of Housing and Water, Colin Crowell, said on Thursday afternoon on a visit to the town. And this was reported in the Stabrook News, shared on the 5th of April, 2021. So one of the things that we're looking at from then to now, this is the 5th of April, 2021. There was another article I can refer to, 1st of December, 2021, that says that a $30 million booster pump is to arrive in 2 weeks for the residents of 5 Mile Region 7 to access potable water. We are now, this is July of 2024. There has been no relief to date when it comes to the water situation. And I want to make it clear that we have been talking about the PPP and their inability to plan effectively and efficiently. And this is another example of that. You have the example of Diamond and the access road to that area and so forth. When we're talking about the water supply thereof in these areas, we're basically referring to failure of the PPP administration once again in their planning process. You come and you plan, you open a housing scheme. At some point, don't you think that you will have to be making plans and provisions and budgetary allocations to make sure that there are sufficient pump systems and booster pump systems in place so that these areas would actually get proper water? 4 Mile was added. That did not happen. Then they went and added another scheme. 5 Mile was added. Yet they did not have any resolution to the water problem. Now they're talking about another scheme farther up. Shara, the PVP is not planning. They have never been engaged in any level of efficient planning whatsoever. And that is what we're looking at right now. And this is something that we keep underscoring every single time we have these conversations. They go out and they just, whatever's at the top of their head, they just put out there. I think there's a disconnect basically when they're speaking. One of the things that we have been mentioning, I can say I know that the council mentioned it at the level of the Bartica Regional Democratic Council, well, the Region 7 Regional Democratic Council, this matter was brought up. It was promised, oh, we will be dealing with it, oh, we are dealing with it, and all of those things. I myself, as a parliamentarian, brought this matter up at the level of the Parliamentary Sectorial Committee, that is the Economic Service Committee. Earlier in the year, a few months ago, Colin Crowell and his entire team attended to answer questions at the level of the Economic Committee there at Parliament. Sheikh Bash was there. When I brought the matter up, he got on his phone and he made a call to the local management in Bartica and he said, oh, well, we have a schedule system. In this oil producing Republic of Guyana, they want persons to be satisfied that they have a schedule that 4 Mile is going to get water one day, 5 Mile is going to get water another day. But guess what? Even that schedule does not play out. It does not work like that. And because the system that they have, the pump that they're using right about now, that pump have to be running for hours before it can build up to actually push water into those areas. Because anybody that knows Bartica would know they're talking about a lot of hills, particularly when you're going into the Patara Road area. So persons are literally living in the 4 Mile areas without water for weeks sometimes on end. 5 Mile was no different. And we had a whole situation there with the fire service being asked to render assistance. There was a whole lot of claims that came to me directly when it comes to persons, the fire service actually selling water, $5,000 a tank. I took this matter to the level of the minister, that is Mr. Ben, and he did act. I give him credit for that. He did act and confronted the situation and so forth. Whether or not it's still happening, I can't say, but the calls and complaints that came to me on that matter has decreased significantly. That's what I can say about that part. But Sherrod, I went into GWI yesterday because we did not get water in 4 Mile for, it's going on to 2 weeks now of no water. I went into there, I was told that this morning at 6 a.m. I should expect to see water. I left home at 2 p.m. There was no water. I contacted the management again at the level of GWI in Bartica. They said when I called this afternoon, they said, oh, well, they had blackout now all day. So the current just come back on. So now we gonna have to wait until the tanks full back so that they can attempt to send water to the area. This is totally unacceptable. We have persons, and I can add this part in. Whenever we talk about these issues, the persons that are affected the most are the most vulnerable in society. That's always the people that we have suffering the most. Those persons can't afford to buy 6-7 tanks and to make sure that they have water stored at that level to last a period of, I would say, 2 weeks or 3 weeks sometimes. So they depend heavily on GWI to actually do what they're supposed to do and to provide that service. So I have to say, this is not, and I'm going to underscore the point that locally, the team is doing the best they could with the resources that they have. We cannot expect them to push water at a level at which they don't have the actual pump system in place for them to do so with. They have been out there, they have been working with very limited resources, and this is at the feet of Sheikh Bash as the CEO there at GWI and Colin Crowell. And they both know that I spoke to both of them about this matter. But I believe that, the squeaking wheel gets the grease. So at this point in time, you have to continue to put pressure because the ordinary citizens there, 4 Mile, 5 Mile, they're crying out because they don't have access to water, and it's a situation that needs immediate intervention. And I can only hope that I don't have to go further and push this matter, and we will actually see some sort of intervention coming forward at this point in time so that you will see aid being given to the local branch here at GWI Bartica because they desperately need that at this time.
Thank you very much, MB Finance, for giving us this update.
You're welcome, Sherrod, as always.
You heard the challenges there, folks. You heard the challenge, and as we just commented, in the land of many waters, how can you not have something so basic? Something so basic, something so fundamental. People's Progressive Party Civic as water through your tap, and you're getting all kinds of public relations out of GWI. 99.99% distribution and all of that. But the proof of the pudding is in the eating. You see, is when you go on the ground, you talk to the people, then you know for certain what is transpiring. Don't bother with the headlines. Like, for instance, that family there in Bartica who had two of their relatives ripped from them, a son and a son-in-law. Over the course of the last 10 days, they've been asking for answers from the Ghana police force, for help from the Ghana police force. After that boat collision that threw so many persons overboard, 3 went missing, 1 body recovered, 2 still missing. And it's only yesterday or the day before, 10 days later, then the police and the Maritime Administrative Department says they're now getting involved in the search. 10 days after the fact. Country like the Wild, Wild West, Tommy Gibbs, like the Wild, Wild West. Here is what Uncle Son told us happened on that fateful day and some of the circumstances surrounding that horrific boat collision there. That caused his son to be missing. and caused his son-in-law to be missing. Take a listen, folks.
Not until my dad took the Friday night, well, Friday morning, I should say, around 3 o'clock or minutes to three, she come rapping at my door and saying that she just, his sister-in-law, which is she brother wife, said that she just get a call from she cousin saying that they had a boat accident at Itabali. Right away, we tried to do some calls and find out. We even call a car right away to pick you up to visit the hospital because we get to understand that the survivors them is in the hospital.
So the family knew at that point that these young men were involved in the accident, or you were just wondering
We
if they
just
might have been?
wondering. We just want to go over the hospital to find out well if they had any information, any patient by the name of Constable Davidson or Troy Joseph. So we went to the hospital.
And what did you learn there?
When we go, we reach the nurse and we ask the nurse, well, okay, we get to understand that there was an accident, and the nurse said, yes, of course, they got some people upstairs. They asked the name, and we mentioned the name, and she said she don't know, but the two captain is upstairs. She would allow one person to go upstairs. I did. I did go upstairs. And approaching Shartman, which is Hudson, he was trying to turn in a kind of way like easy. So avoid from turning because I know he must be in pain. So I tried to come in front of him fast, and I didn't get to ask him nothing. All we do is just raise the head, and he said, "He's called me Shartman." So he said, "Shartman, your family was in a boat, and they're gone too." That was the reply he gave me. I didn't mention anything to him. I just touched him on the shoulder, and he walked straight down back out the hospital. And I couldn't even tell my wife and my children anything because like there was a lump in my throat. Couldn't even talk.
Did he tell you how the boat got into this collision,
No, well,
or have you learned that since?
no, I didn't. So far, I went to visit the next morning. We went on a search, and I asked if they could tell me which part the boat that went in the accident, Shartman boat, or any one of the boat, that they could take me to the boat. That's so I could see it. Okay, I went and I see the boat, and the bow was off, and the front bench and the second bench was missing. I then to myself say that I must see back Shartman in the hospital to ask well which bench these two boys were sitting in, so they can just get the average like how they get hit or whatever.
So that is telling you said the bow is off
Yeah.
and some of the seats in front are missing. That
Two.
tells you it was a hard impact there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and I did went back to the car. We come through the road. We leave the rest of the guys to come round back with the boat, and we come through with my son's vehicle from Itabali to Bartica. We reached the hospital around 7 o'clock, and I went to Shartman, and we had a discussion concerning the boat and how they been sitting or whatever. Not much and not long. He was speaking to the next person and just asked the question, "Who is the next captain?" And he said, "That is the next captain sitting on the bed." And I just turned and looked at him. I didn't ask him nothing because from information that I gather from other people around, not one, not two, many said that the other captain, which is well known as Redman, I don't know his name, said that he was under the influence of alcohol. So I didn't have no
So
discussion
the
with him.
captain of the other boat,
Yeah, the 200.
he is being alleged to have been drunk.
Yeah, of course. This is Shartman, the one who lost his son.
Oh, I see.
They've been in, my family was in his boat, Shartman boat,
I
the
see.
75 boat.
So you learned that these young men are missing.
Yeah,
On that evening,
Yeah.
you went back to the scene to try to get a sense what really transpired.
yeah.
What has happened since that time? This was the 5th of July. Today is the 16th.
Yeah. We the family, we gather some family, we get a boat, collect gasoline or whatever we need to, and we went to the scene where part of this thing occurred and just hoping like we would see one of them would float or anything, and he was unsuccessful. So we coming back, and then later on in the afternoon we get to understand when the other crew, cause we had a day shift and night shift on the river, with no help.
Search party.
Yeah, sort part with no help from the police, just the family.
How recent was that?
That was the fourth day, the Saturday, Friday. It happened. The Saturday, the next day, following
So
Saturday.
this is around the 7th.
Yeah,
The accident happened around the
this-
5th. On the 5th.
and the 6th, because the
Mhm.
5th was Friday,
Good.
and the 6th.
Mhm.
Yeah. So we went to the 6th, and then preparing to go, we get a message that a call that they find somebody on the river. I have called a person who was one of my wife's relative, and I called him to just to confirm that if it's true, and he said yes. I said Inco, which him was a call in constant call name. The boy knew him very well, so I asked him if was Inco. He said no, it's not Inco. It looked like the boat captain's son. And we get the car, we went to the hospital, and he was there in the compound, and we identified the body was Hudson's son.
And this person is Oswald Hudson, I think, was the person who
Yeah,
lost his life. Yep. Folks said they're not getting too much help from the police. They're not getting too much help from the police. Marad and the police joined belatedly. 10 days later, went back to the area and checking and searching. 10 days later. Could you imagine that? That's how human life in this country cheap. Such a horrific collision. One already dead, two missing. And it takes the police force 10 days. It takes the maritime administrative department 10 days to put together a search. If that's not the epitome of dysfunction, I don't know what is. And that's why I said to you, wonderful folks watching us this morning, Isabella and Andrew Gwinnett, I don't look at the big fancy headlines. See, you gotta read between the lines. You gotta read between the lines. And we're just starting the program, 21 minutes in. These are the issues we're dealing with. These are the issues you're dealing with. You remember what we showed you happened at the National Assembly with Dr. Asha Kissoon? She ain't given up the seat. We're supposed to spend 2 or 3 months. All now, like 6 years later, Dr. Asha sit down there. She said, I got things to do here. Now you're moving. Dysfunction. National Assembly doesn't work. They say, we can't do nothing. GCOM sent, they can't do nothing. Who can do something? That's why I want to know. Who can do something? Huh? We got an update for you on that matter. But listen first to what Mr. Vincent Alexander, Commissioner GCOM, told us recently on this very matter. We got an update for you on the other side.
Elections Commissioner Vincent Alexander has said that the debacle involving the sitting of Dr. Asha Kissoon in the National Assembly is a question for the person who's at the electoral list. Dr. Kissoon is sitting in the House against the wishes of the joint parties.
APNU AFC, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Granger is the head of the list. Mr. Norton could not be in Parliament now if Mr. Granger had not submitted his name.
He said that the three parties that comprise the joint list needed someone to sign so that Dr. Kissoon could demit office.
She was supposed to demit office last year, just about the time when the Parliament went into recess. She should have demitted office. What we also need to know is that when, in fact, she took up the seat, the signatories were the two original signatories from the Justice Party and from Annan, but there was a change of the signatory for TNM. And there is where things started going wrong.
Alexander said that the Guyana Elections Commission doesn't have the power of recall. He said that there was some collusion with the PPP commissioners on the Elections Commission.
He started off by saying there's nothing for GCOM to address. And the chairperson herself has not been truthful for the fact that the CEO erred in the first instance, and that as a constitutional body, if we make a mistake, we have to accept that and to correct it. And what they're not doing is correcting it, and therefore facilitating actually remaining in the Parliament. And one can see this as a collaboration between the PPP GCOM commissioners and the PPP.
He said that the PPP has used Dr. Kissoon to occupy the position of Deputy Speaker, which normally goes to the opposition.
But in this instance, they outvoted the opposition to determine which opposition member would occupy that seat and have gotten Asher in, who has been voting solidly with the PPP.
This indicates that the PPP has a vested interest in Dr. Kissoon.
And so all of them, I would say, the Speaker, PPP parliamentarians, the commissioners are all complicit in ensuring that the plot is not exposed and that Asher remains there to serve them.
Yeah, don't expose the plot. Don't expose the plot. I saw somebody says that Asher's PPP. You don't say Asher swing. You see, if you go in there and you're not strong, Andrew, Rastaman, Leslie Hamilton, you're going to swing. To anything, if you're not solid, Leslie, if you ain't got your backings, you're going to swing. So that's what happened with Asher now. If you get a little tough, if you're a little thought there, my hand keeps hitting the mic. Asher swing out. But let me get the update. You bracing yourself? Oh, share the life, the man. This thing want more people. You are sharing the life? What? This thing want more people. Hetty. Rock and come in. Fennel Innes. Jelly G. Siobhan. Desiree. Lester Williams. Rock and come in. This is what. You smash the emoji button for it. And I drink a little cold black tea. This thing want more people. I have also brace it over. Once you know that. You see, God don't like ugly. Dolly Anderson. This piece reminds me of when Excellence Dazel was there at GCOM's council. Excellence started giving some legal opinions I didn't like. You know, I remember Excellence Dazel, that the attorney at law, before she was all that attorney at law stuff. Oh, she was a fantastic singer in the kingdom of God. Ossia Paris was her name before. She switched it. She changed it up. Ossia Paris. Oh, she had a voice, boy. Y'all young in this business out here, you know. Y'all young in this business. I used to be somebody in this town. Y'all young. Y'all young in this thing here. You bracing yourself, Lena Jacobs? Hattie? Desiree Albert, Flo Richards. You bracing yourself? Don't tell nobody I said this. This is just between us because y'all is family. Y'all in the FYI family. That's why y'all getting this hot off the press. You haven't anybody won't get it, Beatrice. Rastaman and Marcy Jackman. I'm being told we're being made to understand back channels. Hi, back channels. Telling us the GCOM had its attorney or an attorney proffer a legal opinion on this matter, Marlon Chalmers. Tracy Clark, you can get it from me. Proffered a legal opinion, Tracy. Ingrid, Leslyn, Desiree Albert. A legal opinion. Hear the story. On this matter of Dr. Asher Kissoon in the National Assembly, GCOM asked its own attorney, tell me what happened here. Make it make sense for me. GCOM the self-confused Naomi. Make it make sense for we. And it is being alleged this morning, Dolly, Jelly G, Edward Brooms, GCOM's attorney says, Asher squatting. Asher squatting there. Debbie Collins. this legal opinion, further than that, says that they disagree with the join the seat mechanism, and that Liberty and Justice, Schumann, he's another one that swing. If you're strong in this business, you're going to swing out. You're going to swing out. Look, some people believe because I didn't win the leadership contest in the Alliance for Change, somehow I going to swing out. So they're watching. You're not to worry with me. As my auntie say, you ain't got nothing to worry with me. I hey. You see, if you're strong, you ain't got backbone, you ain't got spine, you can swing. Thing can carry away. I am happy. The only people I beg for anything is y'all here. Nobody got nothing on me in this business. Me got no conflicts. Nobody got no file. People is often go back when everything else failed them. Chronicle. Folks, if there was something with Chronicle, you don't think Jack would have find it by now? We're 4 years in. Or we hide it so deep. Deep state. We carried so deep. Chronicle, ET 5 million. 5 million is thing for thief. Gave it 4 or 5 aisle black. Unless any blacks, because a lot of blacks getting give back. Give us some of the lucrative ones, Senok and Conch Shellen. Let a bad name be for proper things. Chronicle. You think I've actually stolen money from Chronicle? Jesus, I feel embarrassed. They are associated with $5 million. Ow, 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 ow. $5 million. They beat me up for. But hold on, coming to the other part of the legal opinion. Like we even get up the mark this morning. It's so much of things when the day come to talk with you all about. It's like Bob Marley says, so many things to say right now. So much things to say. So much to say on any given day. The good book says, I got plenty of things to tell you. You can't bear it now. Naomi, hold on. So, the folks said, in this legal opinion, that Liberty and Justice Party, Schumann, the other stringer, or a seesaw, however you want to put it, the other swinger, Schumann, his party alone should be occupying that seat because he had the majority. Marilyn Monroe, he alone. So it begs the question, all them bills that Asha was a part of passing and so on, you heard the commissioner there, Vincent Alexander, says she has voted solidly with the PPP. So they have a vested interest in her being there. Solidly, she's voted with the PPP. Them things legal? All them things she vote on. This Charon dance all over again. Like I've seen this movie before. As she said, she got things to do, like voting solidly with the PPP all the time. She ain't moving. She not moving. She ain't moving. Yeah. So she's squatting according to this legal opinion that the GCOM asks its own attorneys for. Says she there illegally. The Constitution wrong that she can't move. GCOM said they can't do nothing. The police can't do nothing. The PPP unwilling to do anything. So that's it. You get a fraud at the highest level, like the National Assembly, and nobody can do nothing. What kind of cowboy country is this? Like you all say water here every other day. Huh? Like it could be tossed out to sea or the Macaroni River And the police won't come looking for you for 10 days. Like, that's the kind of country you're living in. So Asha is there illegally, and nobody can do nothing. Even though GCOM now knows from its own attorneys, Margaret Nelson, that the girl there illegally. You mean nothing can happen? And all y'all boy jug you one job with every day. It's conflict of interest. Hey, conflict of interest can be boxing in the face. He wouldn't say it. The big head self. And I say that from as a term of endearment. And a little bit of malice too, because anybody had more big than me on, they got problems. You never vex with people because they're more pretty than you, a little more handsome than you, sir. Yeah? You never see, fellas, you never see a guy more handsome than you, just one box in the head. Yeah? He got a little too much hair more than me. What? Vex he just for that. It's the simple things in this life. Every day he wants on with conflict of interest. Conflict of interest. As Dr. Vincent Adams told us recently, he should be the last, Hetty. Charlene Tessa, Enid, Leslie Hamilton. He should be the last, Dr. Vince Adams told us recently. Take a listen.
Former head of the Environmental Protection Agency, Dr. Vincent Adams, has contended that Vice President Barra Jagdeo is in no position to accuse anyone of being in a position of conflict of interest.
He just spouts a lot of nonsense, a bunch of lies. Everything that comes out of this man's mouth is a lie. And he treads on the fact that some people are struggling. They don't even have time to check and see what he's saying. And he's just propagandizing, the whole population.
Dr. Adams said that Jagdeo lies with a straight face. He said that Jagdeo must recall the parent company guarantee.
Let people understand, Exxon agreed to it. They signed it into the permit. And as soon as this man gets into office, he sided with Exxon. By the way, we had to drag Exxon with their nails scraping the walls to sign that thing. But what we told him, that they will not produce a barrel of oil unless we get that parent company guarantee.
He accused Jagdeo of removing the parent company guarantee that had been signed into law. A court ruling supported the original law, and the government has since appealed that decision.
They decided to join with Exxon to appeal the case against its own people's interest. So he should not be talking anything or ridiculing anybody for going against people's interest. He has right now another thing we had in place, this whole capping stock that has now become the biggest thing in the news, and he's trying to take credit for it. We're the only country, which is absolute nonsense.
The capping stock is a piece of equipment that will be used to correct an oil spill. Originally, it was to have been stored in Guyana. It could have been moved to the site of the spill within 3 days. Dr. Adams said that the PPP changed that to 9 days and to have the capping stock stored in Trinidad.
You've seen already where it will be stored in Guyana. It is going to their friends and family shore base. And it costs it. I want to see what are we paying? What are we paying to store it at their friends and family shore base? So they moved it from Trinidad because their friends and families weren't making, obviously, probably, one could only assume that they're taking it there now, and they guess who owns the shore base. And
he described the move as reckless and careless.
Yep. There you have it, folks. You got a lot of other things you could be talking about. Every day you run out here talking about shore base and shore base and shore base and shore base. You're talking about conflict of interest and conflict of interest and conflict of interest. That don't attract attention. But as Vincent Alexander, Commissioner there, GCOM says, they got a vested interest. Vested interest. Dr. Asha Kissoon being where she is. Good to have all of you on the live this morning. Well over 800 of you. Let me try and be a hero and touch on a couple of other things as we run up to program time. Let me try to be a hero this morning. First up, folks, Hurricane Beryl. There's an interesting opinion piece in this morning's Starbuck News. I think I ought to have your attention. It's one of the things this writer, Mr. Neville December, is contending is that Caribbean government, Irfan Ali, has performed reasonably well in this period of Hurricane Beryl. I don't know why, but some don't talk about Haiti and our response to Haiti. Not one Caribbean country got boots on the ground in Haiti. Soldiers coming till from Kenya. December says in this piece that among Caribbean leaders, there's agreement to reach out to all stakeholders to commence discussion on international support. They're going to reach out to stakeholders to commence discussions on international support for Grenada in particular and all the other islands affected by Hurricane Beryl. I would have thought, like many of you, that there were already systems in place that are not waiting for these hurricanes or other natural disasters to occur, but there is an inbuilt system that is always working, and you ain't got to commence discussion. You just got to activate the process, right? Or pick up the pace on the process. Not so. So December says, I can hear the skeptics saying this is too little too late, and that the integration movement has once again gone into reactive mode rather than having acted with foresight and pre-planning for such a disaster. But Mr. December, Neville December, you know the whole thing. That is what we need to be proactive and not reactive. It's like they would say, they want to tell you, this hurricane came out of nowhere. These hurricanes came out of nowhere. But we understand that you got hurricane season. Just like how the May, June rain in Guyana has come out of nowhere and catch the authorities unawares. Same way. Same way. We got to be a little more proactive. I love this headline this morning. Love this headline. That data, you got to get the numbers. You ain't just shooting wild. You ain't just planning wild like the PPP. But your plans and your processes being driven by data, hard data. And this is especially as it relates to women's reproductive health, high mortality rates. We know that's prevalent here, and gender equality. It says that it's the data that is driving all of this, as it should. No doubt, as it should. Data-driven decisions. That has to be the way that we go. And this is according to the United Nations Population Fund. We know all these issues are very, very important. Reproductive health. You know, I'm looking for that girl now. 3 boys later, y'all tell me the secret now. Reproductive health. You know, but I close off now. Hi. That was a consultation. High maternal mortality. My God. Mothers approach state-run institutions here. You know if you can make it out or not. Gender equality. Right? Also, all very important issues. The hard data. What's the data telling us? Very happy that the UN Population Fund is addressing this from that standpoint. And let me give you all a bit of data. Naomi has been on data. Why Naomi laughing so big? Big dirty laugh. You know, let me give you all a bit of data. GTU wants 39.5 and 35% salary hikes ahead of these 2024-2026 negotiations. You know, so they abandoned the previous years, but so let me look forward. We for development, let's look forward. I think these figures are very conservative. I see no reason why they can't be met. The amount of grants and cash, grant and flood, grant and clothes, grant and bag, grant and grief, grant people getting in this country. Teachers and so on getting nothing much. That's why you see policemen involved in all kinds of ulterior motives, all kinds of dark arts. Right? All kinds of dark arts. Naomi says that I'm out here, always out here talking, but not one time we get a confirmation from the big lady. Speaking by faith, like how Moses crossed the Red Sea. You know? Speaking those things that are not, like the salary increases. Like the salary increase for the teachers, as though they were trying to be a hero this morning. Yeah. Y'all boy, I trying to have it a straight face. Your boy gone up. Your boy gone up. He touched Belgium. Ambassador waste time. Ambassador Rundy should get the train to the ground. But we got government don't sanction is promote. That's the modus operandi. The worse you do, the greater your promotion. Made Toussaint Thomas, UTech Central Exec. Vikram Bharat, Tech Central Exec. Since Narayan Singh, Tech Ambassador. The worse you do. This is a man say he want to make sugar great again. Like the PPP. He wanted to make sugar great again. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know what we were doing. 4 years later. 4 years later. Nothing doing. Besides, he gone after the UN now. Margaret Nelson, Naomi Trucker, Linda Booker, Jilly G. He presented his letters of credence. I want to send a real letter to the Belgians. Instead of the 10 tons of coke in the land, I want to send a real letter to the Belgians. The Belgians. Good riddance to him. From Gaisuku. Good riddance. That's all I can say. Good riddance. Good riddance. Margaret wants to know when I'm going back to Parliament to beat and teach. Margaret girl, I don't know. They call it so far and in between. Every now and again, they call a sit-in. We love to have more regular sit-ins, but it's just the way things are. I was fascinated when I saw this quite recently. Robert Prasad says they have engaged the American government formally, not only through sanctions. You know, sanctions fall on them like, whoa. It's all now I want to hear from Lock and Check. Lock and Check here for all now. Sanctions more than the age. So they've engaged the U.S. authorities formally now. A number of areas. That's what fascinated me. They're trying to rehabilitate their image. That's what they're trying to do. Rehabilitate their image. It's not going to work. Sanctions done drop on y'all already. It's not going to work. But they said they talked about several things. Support for Guyana's territorial integrity. But this is the one that got me. Good governance. I didn't mind the rest. But was it good governance for me? Roxanne Jones, Beryl Crawford, Marilyn Lorma, was it good governance? Good who? Anything in this country working? Huh? Don't get tossed overboard. I was coming back, going to and from Bartica yesterday. I said, Lord, don't let go overboard. Because them boys take 10 days before the marshal search team to go looking for men who were involved in a boat collision. Imagine if I get pitched overboard. Imagine the quick response from them then. Folks, as an aside, it wasn't too hot yesterday for travel. Bartica is so beautiful. Oh God. Just to and from, I put in my headphone, put on, transparency, or took off the transparency rather. So you're not hearing too much of the outside. Let's get a little tinge of the boat engine. Took off the transparency from the headphone. I played something I was listening to. This is a little soca. And just taking in the beauty of that river, sail away a little bit, fall to sleep a little bit in the boat. Say, Lord, don't wake up in the water. Don't wake. You know them boys and come looking for you. But listen, don't just walk on dead in this country. Visit some places. Bartica is so beautiful. So beautiful, Bartica. Visit some places. So much water. Good governance. You telling me people getting water there every 10 days. That's good governance. You got a man run Kaisuko into the ground. You give your ambassadorship to the UN and Belgium. You call it good governance? Sanctions falling on contractors. Sanctions falling on high government officials. Visa getting revoked. The Americans trying to produce good governance through sanctions. Will they succeed? Who can be the last man standing? Who can be the last man standing? Trying to be a hero here, folks. Trying to be a hero here. I like when women shatter glass ceiling. Women break the traditional mold and becoming this young lady, they said, the first female president of the Lusignan Golf Club. More power to our sister. More power to her. First female president. Maybe have more glass ceilings shattered in this manner. Right? More glass ceilings must shatter. You don't have to confirm. If you want to be a stay-at-home mom and wife and so on, more power to you. If you want to go out there and you contend in the corporate world, contend as an entrepreneur, whatever the case is, more power to you as well. And so is the case with this young lady who went out there as part of this fantastic golf club up on the East Coast there and shattering ceilings. That's why I say more power to she too. Please and thank you. This is what you gotta do. Don't let them hold you back now. Don't let anything hold you back at all. Right? This is Anasha Ali, the new president of the Lusignan Golf Club. More power to her, Anasha. More power to you. Moving on. Fascinating things you see. There's run out like this. Millions invested in some community. 400 million in community grounds in Region 6. I'd love to see this in Region 10. I'll just upset somebody there now. What I see is the Region 10 authorities begging and begging and begging. Oh, help we here, PPP. We ain't begging favors. We're just asking that the monies of this country the resources. There's inclusivity. That's what we want. But I'm proud to say 400 million Region 6 for grounds. They deserve it too. Region 6 deserve it. Every region should have their grounds in tip-top shape. Every region. Is the contractors we worried about? Is the contractors that cause us worry? Because a lot of them is friends, family, and favorites. Ain't doing the work. I was surprised. Irfan Ali was in Zebra, Lenora. What's the other one he went to? Iflat recently. Like none of them contractors who got road contract and so, bridge contract and so, like none of them are working the specification. I can't remember none that got called and you heard doing well. Good job. This is Irfan Ali based. Like nobody in the time. You say 400 million, 3 billion in contract signed. But we made the assumption that those contractors are delivering. But Irfan Ali's walkabout says differently. Yeah. You remember the man who had the sheet? He called and named the difference and said, good job. Well done. No. Several contracts they telling us terminated since that trip. And you know that's only for PR value. Right? Let's say you terminate Duncan and Duncan. Tomorrow them boys register another company, Duncan. You got the end. Or just Duncan Construction. And them same people getting contract again. He said terminate, the company said terminate the people. So then boy go and get another company bids again in your skin. So they're telling us a couple since Saturday or whenever it was last week, Saturday, got terminated. As I said to you, when Prakash was calling those names off of that sheet of paper, I didn't hear one commendation. He called several contracts. Even just rowing it. Y'all imagine what Irfan blood pressure must be. Why Irfan thinning down so fast? Irfan like Charles, he got one gear. One views out gear. Nobody even functioning. Right? So they terminate Bendor contract. Contract happening at Tushen. Arakari terminate the contract too. It don't need to happen. We got terminated the PPP from government. We got to flush them out of government. That's what we got to do. Flush them out. Talking about contracts and so. Your boy Robeson said procurement corruption. Corrupt procurement. It's the biggest immediate problem in the Ghana police force. Corrupt procurement. Oh, y'all like y'all by Hickins. Hickins got on a belt with a big buckle, get MK. Who's MK? You know, I think Hickins would understand himself. Big belt mark, MK, that belt look like 500,000 alone. Pink shirt, striped suit. Right? I don't know. Nobody can tell Hickins you don't wear striped suit with a striped tie. I mean, this is like it's like an SOP on these things. Big MK, I know. Isn't MK in fact? Isn't that Michael Kors? Procurement corruption. Commissioner of Police out here looking like procurement himself. We procured a big belt from MK, like a Brandon. MK, big belt buckle. See it from 6 miles off. That's what he says is prevalent there, the police force. Procurement corruption. Here with the Ministry of Labor telling us this morning that the ILO has to update the Occupational Health and Safety Act. Yeah, that's one thing. If we could just enforce what we got currently, that could help us a long way too. Updating it is all well and good. Occupation safety and health. But the way things are going locally, we need just to enforce what we have. Safe workplaces, safe industrial sites. We lost Intrepid Hercules at both sides. Right? We lost a set of people. Ravi Chandra, Simalgal, Pretty Paul, Singh Investment, Russ Bell, Jesus, Rangar, Azokar. We lost him at Vrina Hoop Shore Base. The Mindra, Narayan, we lost at Imam Bacchus and Sons Complex. Lennox McPherson, we lost at Gana Shields and Resources Incorporated. Neil McGarrell, Leon Lykin, Nolan Long, Leon, Timothy Fraser. All industrial accidents. All of them. And there have been a couple more since those. How we get out to Polari Joe? Oh, we have launched investigations. An investigation. We've launched investigation. Ever learning. The good book tells us. But never come into the knowledge. Never come into the knowledge. Masakanari. Hope I'm calling it right. Beautiful village, indigenous community. Had its own unique system of electing leadership for the village. This government, unlike that, they got an instituted two-show system. For decades, this community, Masakanari, have done things in their own indigenous way. In their own deliberate judgment, choosing the leaders. But we don't like that. We don't like it. So they got an institutionalized system. I saw lots of our indigenous brothers and sisters say, And that's what they're doing at Masakanari? Am I calling it right? Y'all tell me. That's what they're doing? So they now have a village council and a tushao. They had their own unique system that served them well. But you see this thing called control freakism? You see this thing called control freakism? People want to be part of nothing they ain't controlling fully and totally. Never mind how we're killing the culture of the people. Once it's reduced to the benefit of the PPP. Not interesting headline. Hot temperatures from discharges owing to oil and gas can kill marine species. How you like that? How you like that? So apparently, the wastewater that comes from oil production and gas production and so on, how it's given back to the ocean can have its own problems. Right? Produced water, that's what they're calling it. They said drill cutting and drill fluid discharge during the drilling of development wells, effluent discharges from cooling water and produced water, hydro testing discharges and non-routine unplanned events such as oil spills can result in the release of dangerous substances that affect marine life. This according to a piece of research that was done for Exxon. Increase total suspended solid concentration, chemical concentration, right? Affect marine water quality and marine habitat quality and affect wildlife. So when the fishermen saying we ain't catching the number of fishes we used to before Exxon started pumping, this could be a cause. Produced water, this bit of research out of that Kissoon News is publishing, produced water is a liquid that is extracted during oil production activities. It contains dissolved mineral salts and may be mixed with organic compounds such as acids, waxes, and mineral oils. It may amount to heavy metals and naturally occurring radioactive material. This is according to the U.S. Department of Energy in this research paper. Right? It is also unusually high in temperature and can be deadly to marine life. So there's some of what is going back out there. And we're learning in this piece of reporting out of Kissoon News that there are actual protocols to deal with this. Right? There are protocols to deal with this. But if those protocols aren't followed, they could have negative consequences, of course. And part of this reporting out of Kissoon News this morning, the experts are saying, right, one Dr. Ulrich Tratz, he's very, very concerned about the monitoring capacity of a country like Guyana to make sure that the protocols where produced water, etc., is concerned. Because if the protocols aren't being followed, your marine life is going to be harmed. And we've heard several of our fishermen tell us over time that they're not getting the kind of fishing yields that they used to. That's something to consider. Now, as we wrap up, folks, Hillfoot, success, Sarah Joanna, Kane View Mucker, letter write in today's paper, talks about the impact of this on our children. And in the case of Sarah Joanna, you people say they had a court order. I think it's Andrina Thompson is the letter writer. Andrina Thompson. And there's a court order to evict. And what Miss Thompson says, that's all well and good. Right? But what is the impact on that of the kids who have inhabited this environment? Who just flung out on the streets? A court can say do that to people, to kids. A court would never say do that to kids. Fling them out anyway, to the mercy of the elements. And so here's this letter writer as we wrap up saying, I suggest that the court orders on the removal of squatters be premised on the rights of the affected children. Rights of the affected children. And then a series of criminal activities racking this nation of ours. Police hunt teens, teenagers who jumped a woman's fence and stole her puppies. Take mixer utensils and all items carted off from a cafe in the city. Robeson distracted. Hickens distracted. GPF, the Guyana Police Force, distracted. Yeah, first 15, folks. First 15. So Norton says, by the end of the week here, PNC are going to have a new General Secretary. As we wrap up, yeah.
Opposition leader and leader of the People's National Congress Reform, Aubrey Norton, has said that on Wednesday, he will be engaging the executive of the party on a number of issues, some of them critical.
We have to name a general secretary, though it's exclusively within the realm of the leader. I've been engaging people, and I think by Wednesday CEC, we will have I would have identified the next general secretary of the party. The person that is under consideration is a competent person. But I still have a few more engagements before I actually say that this is the person, this is how we move.
There is to be a focus on the youth in preparation for a youth conference expected in October. He also addressed the issue of corruption. There are reports of policemen having more money than their employer would have provided.
If you do not have a proper police commissioner who is qualified and can do the work and whose integrity is not in question, then we're going to have problems. So the police now know that they have to protect the political directorate so they can do it and escape. Unfortunately for them, low ranks in the Ghana police force, they were putting the information out there, so they became exposed. Now the reality is this governing of this country is done in a corrupt way.
He said that even the allocation of contracts is corrupt.
The politicization of the police force has placed it where it is. If you politicize the police force now knows that they don't have to be accountable to the commissioner. Some you hear some of them talking about going directly to the president, some going to the vice president. So almost immediately you remove the line of command and create multiple points of power that policemen can access, and in the process, you undermine the structure of the police.
He said, with an undermined structure, senior policemen believe that they can be involved in corrupt acts with impunity. Norton said that the failure by the police to investigate the rape allegation against Nijem Damrell gave them something to use as a leverage against the government.
The police has already established that they lack credibility, more so at the top. Now, rather than send Britus home, you claim that he is asked to be sent on leave. That in itself tells you that he continues to be who he is on leave, and therefore there is scope for him to interfere with junior ranks.
At issue here was Assistant Commissioner Calvin Brutus. He has since requested to be sent on leave.
You cannot allow the police to investigate the police. It makes no sense. You need a reputable investigator, and then there's the accounts part of it, in which you might need a forensic accountant to go through, etc. So it has transcended the police force.
Yep, that's going to do it for us this morning, folks. Thank you so much for joining us from the many places that you guys joined us from. Do remember to share the live. Smash that emoji button for us before you go, folks. And be safe out there. Watch the roadways, whether at home and abroad. Wild West. Neville Cedal and Waveney Doris, Lester Donna, and Sandra. Good to see you there. Lucille Kendall. Good to see you there. We're going to see you guys back here in the next broadcast. Maxine Monroe down in Liverpool. And all the other folks joining us. Have a fantastic day. We'll see you right back here later on this evening